Okay. Hello and welcome to the MCU panel discussion and review. Patreon.com/GenesisVandrazani. Uh, oh, what did you see that in the top right? It said like avoid illegal snags.
Oh
The
no,
hell is
yeah,
that?
that's been there every time.
I haven't noticed that
It
yet.
pops away eventually,
What
but it's
does it
been there
mean?
every. It just because sometimes if you recorded these calls and you didn't and people didn't know about it, that'd be like, you know, invasion of privacy or something like that. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll invade your privacy. Okay. Uh, Patreon.com/GenesisVandrazani if you'd like us to invade your privacy. Twitter.com/GAndrazani if you'd like to invade my privacy. And contact me on Facebook if you'd like to show private parts. Anyway, I'm joking. That was not appropriate. But of course, we'll forget all about that because I highly doubt anyone would have be going into this particular video having not seen any of the others. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
It would be very unlikely. So with that hint out of the way, what were your thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Right. Ant-Man and the Wasp is such a weird film in terms of when it's been released and in terms of the order of it all.
Yeah.
Because as a film itself, I enjoyed it to an extent, but it feels, in a sense, pointless. Considering that, like, the big criticism I have of it is probably not the film itself, even though it's fine. The fact that this is like after Infinity War, and this is before Infinity War, it just feels so pointless when
The only
watching it in
the
a
only
certain
connection
order.
to it, the only connection to it is the post-credit scene. That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. And that confirms that this is before. But of course it's before, but yeah. Like, right, as a film itself, it's fun, it's funny, entertaining, and it does the same things right like in the first Ant-Man film with the whole going back and forth, big and small, all that. That's all fun like it was in the first film. And the plot is interesting. It's them trying to get their mother back from the quantum realm, which is an interesting concept, but it, again, just doesn't feel like I should invest in this too much, invest in these characters that are brand new. Because, first of all, they're probably going to get snapped away. And second of all, they're not that interesting. And third of all, are they that important to the overall story? Mm. But as a film itself, when just watching it, it's a fun, entertaining film with decent characters. Uh, bloody main character's great. Scott Lang, usual, great. But other than that, it's just doesn't feel needed in terms of the structure of all these films, especially after Infinity War.
Yeah, I agree. This film should have taken place way earlier. It's like fine, but it's so forgettable in the grand scheme of things, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so awkwardly placed as well.
Yeah,
Like, oh man, I feel bad for the people that worked on it because it's just like you're gonna follow up Infinity War with Ant-Man and
yeah,
the Wasp. Like,
mm-hmm.
what? It just,
Yeah,
I feel like the Ant-Man films, like by themselves, are to a degree successful, but I just think in terms of the MCU, they have the worst placing possible. Like in all of the like different singular franchises, the
mm.
fact that they both take place after an Avengers film completely derails like their importance.
Yeah,
And
mm-hmm.
both Ant-Man films I haven't watched in one sitting. I've had to watch it like split because I just don't care. And like with the first Ant-Man, because it was a new thing, I was interested at least because I was like, this is something I haven't seen before. But with this one, I mean, I watched this film after seeing Endgame, so like, I just don't care at all. Like, I'm just like, this is all pointless.
Yeah.
Now, it did surprise me because a couple of points that I liked, but overall, I just felt like if I wasn't doing this series, I'd have no motivation to watch it.
No, like the only reason that you would have to watch this film is because of all the stuff with the quantum realm. Because that in this film they sort of hinted at that it could be
Yeah.
important in the future, but then that's kind of it. Other than maybe,
Yeah, but the thing is,
maybe,
I watched.
but
I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil Endgame for anyone. So spoilers if anyone hasn't seen Endgame. We're not allowed to talk about it. But I didn't need to see Ant-Man and the Wasp to know what the quantum realm does. They explain it in Endgame.
yeah,
So
at least. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
do we? Yeah, like, and it's a shame because there's a lot in this film that I actually do like, especially all the stuff in the quantum realm. I really, really like because it's visually really, really cool.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I think out of all the films in the MCU, this one might have the worst placing in terms of the order. It's so awkward.
Yeah, not like the worst film, like right now, but like it's a massive detriment to it that the fact that this has come after Infinity War, and the fact that this film could have been better if it had this thing where it was set after Infinity War, and they sort of had the plot weave around that, but in a sense they probably couldn't do that because it was the end of Infinity was such a big thing and heavily like spoiler like, and they wanted to keep it under wraps, especially like for example they didn't let Tom Holland see the entire script of Infinity War because he can't see what's leaking stuff out, so they couldn't really do that. So yeah, having this set like released after Infinity War but set before it is such a huge detriment to it in terms of should I be engaged in this film as a plot and story within the MCU right now? And the answer is no. Like for me, while I enjoyed it and I was laughing many times, I thought this was quite a fun film and funny. Did I feel like it was important? No. Just there's no real excuse to say that it's an important film to the MCU as a whole.
Yeah, I think in a ultimate world we could just reshuffle things and they stay the same. I think Ant-Man should have taken place early in Phase 2, and I think this should have taken place early in Phase 3.
Yeah, this should have been like Civil War or something, or somewhere around that time.
Yeah,
like
maybe
I
like
know it would be on short notice,
maybe like in between Guardians and Spider-Man, or in between Spider-Man and Thor, or even between Thor and Black Panther. Just like have it as a bumper between the big ones.
Yeah, this should have been
because like the first
this absolutely should have been set before Infinity War, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's not. And that's the biggest issue that we can have with this film. Yeah. Because, like, what we're talking about is, like, we're not talking about the film itself and its problems. We're talking about the fact that where this has been released in terms of the release dates of these films and the order we have to watch them. So
I just remember, like when I went to Infinity War the first time, I saw this trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, like this obviously doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and that was
the thing that matters. The only thing that matters is that people die in the end of this film in the post-credit scene.
And that was before even seeing the snap. Like I was still like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get on to the characters.
Yeah.
Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man.
Great as he was in the first one. Like he's the best part about it.
Yeah, he's very entertaining actor, and not even like I've been watching a lot of interviews lately with like him and Jeremy Renner. He's very, very entertaining.
Yeah, he's such a like great actor and a funny guy, and just in general, like he carries this film not because it's like itself a bad film, but because like we said of our engagement in it, he at least brings something that we can enjoy in this film. Like he's funny, he's very good actor, and he does great in the scenes that are really, really good. Like there's no problems with him in this film as a character. Like much like in the first one, he's such an enjoyable character to watch. And his relationship with Cassie again is a good part of the film, and I really like it and how they do it in this film. So
Yeah, and I like how I like that kind of cliffhanger at the end where he gets stuck in the quantum realm. Like that was cool.
yeah, and I like how he thought it was a joke at first, but then it got really serious, and by the end, it's like, no, he's in trouble. He's in massive trouble because he's stuck in the quantum realm after the snap.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but then again, like, would him being inside the quantum realm like make him not I don't know, what are the rules of the snap? Like, if he was in the quantum realm, would he not get snapped?
We don't know, but I don't. In a sense, I don't think that matters in terms of him being gone or not, because he could have been one of the lucky ones that doesn't get faded away anyway, when he was out of the quantum realm. So, in a sense, that doesn't really matter. But it's just the fact that he's stuck in the quantum realm with no way out right now.
Yeah.
So.
True. Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
I do like his romance with Hope, though. I do like the romance between them. But it's more like an anti-romance that goes into a romance kind of thing. Because the whole thing is that he keeps disappointing Hank and Hope, in a sense, throughout the film, which I do like. And it does have a decent payoff at the end. And it makes you at least care about these two characters and about each other as well. So
I don't know. Maybe it's like the Marvel fatigue, or it's just me being, the salty bastard. But like, I just found a lot of this like story in this film to be stuff that I've seen a million times before.
Yeah,
and that's part of the problem. Is it's like I've seen this before, and it's just like of course it's like in Act 2. The one of the love interests is like, no, we don't like you at the moment because you're being annoying or whatever, or you're not participating in our thing because you've got your own issues or whatever. And then at the end of the film, they make up and it's fine. And it's not particularly interesting. It's okay.
No. Yeah, like what really carries this film is the characters and the actors.
Yeah, I would say the best part about their romance is the comedic part. Like when they're like growing and shrinking in that school, like that was really funny.
That was funny.
Like when he couldn't couldn't reach the bag.
And I love the music in that scene is so good. It's the Ant-Man theme, but they have it in such a like kids version of it because of like the whole shrinking. It's actually really, really funny. Also, I love when Janet possesses Scott.
Oh yeah.
That was probably my favorite part of the film, probably.
It's because
that's so funny.
Because Paul Rudd's performance, like, it's completely convincing, and then when you see Janet at the end of the film, it's like, yeah, that's exactly how Paul Rudd played her.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like all holding hands, and then he wakes up and he's like, "What's going on here?"
I love how like they sort of they forget that it's Scott who's been possessed, but they just think it's Janet in a sense. Because, like you said, they hold hands and stuff like that. So it's so funny. It is really funny.
Yeah, I suppose in a way the only thing that really makes sense in terms of the placement of this film is the sense that Infinity War is so miserable that maybe you want to have like a nice fluffy one for the kids, if they're really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just think in terms of when we are judging these films, in terms of importance of like where they're being structured, the fact that this again after Infinity War, and the fact that it's set in time before it, is a big minor to it in terms of our engagement of it.
Yeah,
and there's only so much the actors and characters can do to like make us forget that in a way. So
yeah. Yeah, and I think part of the problem with this one compared to the first Ant-Man is it doesn't have that awesome thing of, whoa, we're becoming Ant-Man now, and this is a weird like experience. Now they're just doing stuff, and it's like it's kind of like how I compare it. I would compare it to say like something like Iron Man 2, where it's like he's already Iron Man, now he's just doing stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But the thing with that film is it has an interesting thing with Tony's obsession in a sense,
Yeah.
or like lack of, I don't know what the word is, but I think it's done better there. I would say
Yeah.
doing the whole sequel when they're already the
Yeah.
hero.
We're complimenting Iron Man 2 here.
Yeah, like,
It really says
like,
something.
but I don't think it's Iron Man 2 is a bad film though. That's the thing. I just think
Mm,
it's quite messy. That's all I have the problem with
yeah,
it. With this,
but what?
it's not messy, but it's just in terms of where this film is the biggest problem with it.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, I think definitely at similar to the first film, the best part is Ant-Man,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, 100%. Followed by a
But
close
the
second
but
with
the
a
problem
certain scene.
the problem is like he's at his best in like Civil War, like not this film, not Ant-Man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird, like they're like it's because it's the story around him. That's the problem for me.
yeah.
It's like
And how he reacts to it. Yeah,
yeah, like he's such a great side character. Like
yeah,
he's a really good main, but he's a better side character, I'd say.
yeah. Who like sort of lifts up the plot with his comedy and like Paul Rudd as an actor as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
like
agree with that.
like I
He's
said in the
better
Civil
in the ensemble films. He's
like
better there.
like I said in the Civil War review, I love how he's like kind of the shit superhero.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like when he throws a truck when he thinks it's a water truck, but it's just a regular truck that can explode.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good example of that. And it's funny and it's
yeah.
endearing as well.
But I would say, yeah, Paul Rudd is great, and not just the comedy scenes, but like all the scenes with him and Cassie, like they're very convincing.
Yeah, yeah. Is the girl that plays Cassie a different actress to the one who played her in the first one, or is she
I'm not,
just really like older and looks a bit different?
I mean, there is a there is a
It's like
3 year difference.
it's yeah, 2 3 year difference. Yeah,
3 years, 3 years.
yeah. It just felt like I don't know why it looks similar, but I kept thinking, is that a different actress, like a
Kids
different
kids
child
grow up
actor?
kids grow up pretty
Yeah,
crazily.
it's very odd. It kind of
Like
distracts me.
no,
In a
but seriously
sense.
though, if you looked at a photo of yourself from when you were like I don't know, like 8, and then look at a photo from you when you're like 11, or even like look at a photo from when you're like 11 and 14, like the difference
Mm,
is big for most
mm.
people. You still tell it's the same person, but it's like there's a lot that
Yeah,
goes on in the years. Um, but yeah, anything else we want to say about Ant-Man specifically?
no, I think we said everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Hope Van Dyne, aka Wasp.
Again, fun, just a fun character who has
I,
this sort of arc with trying to find his mother again. So
yeah, very simple story, I would say.
yeah, not
Act-
bad, but actress is great. I would say she does.
She's far more likable in this than she is in the first one.
Yeah, and finally she has long hair instead of short.
Yeah, I gotta say I much prefer her new hair as opposed to her whatever the fuck that was in Ant-Man. But it's
Mm.
funny how in Lewis's flashback he actually like makes a joke out of her hair from Ant-Man.
Yeah, I love the callback to Lewis's explanations of things. That was probably my second favorite part of the film.
Yeah,
And it's nice that they have this sort of. It's not like a homage to like Edgar Wright's directing, but it's similar because they keep this style that they have from Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man, with that scene. Because obviously with Lewis's explanation and stuff, which is probably one of the funniest parts of the film. And I
yeah,
love how, in a sense, they basically redo scenes from the first one, but from Lewis's perspective. It's like like for example, the scene with Hope and then Scott's in bed when they first meet each other in the first Ant-Man film, and how Lewis interprets that conversation is so funny. It's
mm,
really, really funny.
yeah. But in terms of Wasp, I hope Van Dyne. Um, See, the problem is I was watching this film on a very surface level thing just because I wasn't that invested.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that much about her just because of that. Apart from the fact
Mm.
that she had a relatively, you know, I guess relatable story. I don't know. She finding her mother, and
Yeah.
it's an emotional thing if it happened to anyone. and I think she looks pretty nice in that suit. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and I think the actress does a good job, and definitely with the chemistry between her and Paul Rudd is very, very good. So yeah, but I
Yeah.
think yeah, she does.
Yes.
She's a good actress, and has a good performance. Just just not one of the better characters in the MCU as a whole. But that's not a detriment to her. But it's just yeah, there are just better characters. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's yeah.
Very nice suit.
Mm.
Um, Hank Pym.
I felt like in this film he kind of was dialed back a bit. But I do like the scenes that he was in with, especially with Janet in the quantum realm. I thought that was really, really good. It just felt like that was something kind of. I don't know if this was just me, but it just felt like something was stripped back from the first film. Am I the only one who kind of feels that?
It
I just felt
reminds
there's some.
me. It reminds me of Odin in the first two Thors. How like
Mm,
in Thor 1, he's like Hank Pym and Ant-Man. That kind of interaction and like
yeah,
interest. He's really interesting and like he's part of the plot massively. Then in Dark World, he's good, but he's not really there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Just with this one, Hank was so weird in this film. I don't know why.
you'd expect him to have a massive role. This is him getting his wife back.
Yeah, and they do have a good scene together when he finally finds Janet in the quantum realm, which is great. But I'm just in the overall film, it just felt that there was like something missing. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like the performance was a bit weird or the dialogue for Hank Pym was a bit off. I don't know. It just felt that there's something was kind of off for me. That
Hmm.
could just be me. I don't know. I don't know how other
Yeah.
people feel like
Well, I
about
mean,
Hank and the
I,
cat.
I think,
Yeah.
I think, I think there's something a bit off about Ant-Man films in general. They're just kind
Yeah.
of, uh, they feel so. I don't know what the word is. They're just not very seasoned. They're quite,
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
yeah, they're quite predictable. Sort of, there's something missing from them.
Like the thing is, like when it got to the hour mark in this film, I thought the film was nearly over, but it still had another 40 minutes to
Yeah,
go.
they're also too long. The Ant-Man films are way too
Yeah,
long. They don't need to be 2 hours.
yeah. Like when they are like planning, I think to get the lab back, or they're trying to do something in the lab. Like I think they're about to start going into the quantum realm, but it gets stolen by like this weird sunny guy. I think that's what his name is. I think that's what happens. But it just felt like at the hour mark, I thought it was like nearly over,
Yeah.
but there was still like another 45 minutes to go, and I was like, oh god, this is like it feels like it's stretching its legs out here and really
Yeah,
trying
and
to
it's like
make
it's
up for
not
time.
and like it's not like it drags. It's not slow. It's just Act 2 in both the first act. I mean, first Ant-Man, it's actually because he goes to visit Falcon. It's kind of fun, but
Yeah,
it's unnecessary. Whereas with this film, it's just like, eh, I'm not really interested in what's happening here. Like it
yeah,
all feels like filler, you know?
yeah. That
So,
I agree with that. I just felt that this film just went too long for me, and it felt like it could have had a natural conclusion if it just sort of maybe had a few filler scenes and they had like what the hour mark was, what happened in the hour mark at the 60
I
minutes
think
was at the end.
I think the Ant-Man film should be 90 minutes max.
Yeah.
Like
They
they'd be
don't
way
need to be that long.
and like I reckon you could market them at like kids. Maybe not like I don't mean like patronize them, but like
Yeah.
have it be the same humor, but just not swearing.
Mm.
I reckon, and
Yeah.
like make it 90 minutes and like market it towards youngins, and I think it could work.
Yeah, make it like really fun films that are not like adults can enjoy it like we all do because it's an MCU film, but have this sort of nice style to it that everybody can enjoy and it not feel like it's trying to stick with all the other films and try to be this 2 hour film that has a lot of depth to it, stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the problem though, is it doesn't really have a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
what I'm
very
saying. Yeah.
simplified.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Hank Pym. He's okay.
Yeah, that's all I
Actor's
can really
got
say.
actor's got charisma, but he doesn't really do much.
Yeah, it doesn't do much in the film.
Then we were introduced to, I guess you could say, as the antagonist super villain was Avastar, aka Ghost.
I thought the performance was very odd. I don't know what it was about the performance. I wasn't a fan of it. I just
I like her superpowers.
Yeah,
They're
and I like
interesting.
how it's basically a curse to her, like she's in pain.
Is Ghost supposed to be like part of X-Men?
I have no idea.
She seems like the kind of person that would be an X-Men. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she has that feel to her, but yeah, but I just something about the actress's performance I didn't like. I don't know what it was. I just
She seemed like she was trying too hard to be
sadistic and
sadistic and like, ugh, I
yeah,
can
I didn't
control
like it.
you. I need to grab your brain.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. The concept of the character itself, I do like how she was born into this, but then she's in constant pain like all the time because of it. But the performance was just quite a downer for me. Like her costume is great, her design is great, and her power is very unique and interesting. But the performance itself was really what put me off, like a lot. So yeah, not one of the best MCU villains, even though there aren't that many good ones.
I
This
mean,
one in particular was
I
probably
I forgot she was in it until I read it.
yeah. Yeah, it just feels like, and they do have this whole side plot. I guess it's not really a side, but because it's part, she's the villain, but she has this whole thing along with. I can't even remember his name. He plays Morpheus in Matrix, but I, I just felt like that their subplot kind of thing, in concept, was interesting, but not executed as well as it could have been.
I feel like this film had like three subplots.
It had like four. It had like It had obviously the main plot. It had a guy trying to get the lab as well, like signing for his company. There's also like Lewis's business. There's also them trying to get Janet out of the quantum realm, and then there's the villain trying to fix herself. It just felt like there was a lot going on, but none of it was, apart from probably the main plot, that engaging and that not well thought out, but just executed quite poorly.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a cinematic experience. It just felt like a busy day.
Yeah, like the thing with the first Ant-Man film, that had a sort of style of a heist film. This film doesn't really have that. It's just another action film. That's what I felt. That's the one thing I could say about the Ant-Man, because at least it had a sort of style of a heist film. But this film,
Yeah,
don't feel like it has that. Maybe it
yeah,
does in some areas, and someone can point that out to me. But for me, watching it, I didn't feel that. It just felt another like a superhero action film that was okay.
yeah. I mean, I was watching a sort of YouTube essay um, about story endings in film, especially, and um, one of the examples of great story endings is The Matrix, where all of the subplots end at the same point in the film, whereas in other films, sometimes some subplots end at different points in the film, and it doesn't feel as satisfying when you get to the end. And I feel like
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is one of those. It's like the subplots don't feel like they lead to a point. They just
No,
they all
they just sort of
in,
end.
individually. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a film. It feels like a busy day.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think it's
Yeah, nothing.
necessary. It's not necessarily a mess. It's just not that interesting.
No, yeah, I agree.
Um, but if we got nothing else to say about Ghost, we'll move on, right?
Yeah.
of course, Lewis.
Great, like he was in the first film. Funny. And he was a lot more involved in the action than he was in the first film. Though
Yeah.
he had quite a bit to do in the first one, but this one, you see that he was more involved in
I
the
think
action.
I feel like his flashbacks are like what I look forward to most with these Ant-Man films.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, like I didn't, because I this me watching this for this review was the first time I've actually watched it. So this is the first time I've actually watched because I didn't see it in
Oh,
cinemas.
really?
Yeah, I didn't see it in cinemas. I knew what happened in the end, but I didn't know the film itself and stuff like that, what actually happens.
Yeah.
So I was very excited that they did do the callback to the first film with like Lewis's flashbacks, and I thought
I
it was
like
very fun.
I like how his flashback showed how they met.
Yeah, and he has long hair at that time as
Yeah.
well for some reason.
Yeah. I would say those that's a very creative way to deliver exposition is through those Lewis flashbacks.
Yeah, because there's a fun, interesting way to do it.
And also they don't like overbear you with it. Like they give it to you when you least expect it, so it's like a nice little subversion. But you always know,
Yeah.
like the second before it happens, you know it's coming because that music thing hits. It's like da 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 da.
Yeah, it's like one of the like those like heist kind of things where it has the drum roll kind of thing, and it's very very cool. But yeah, it's nice, a nice little like, oh, it's this kind of moment, and it's really really fun and interesting and done really well.
Yeah, like I would say Lewis is quite a gimmicky character, but I do like him.
Yeah, I like Lewis as a character a lot in both these two films of Ant-Man. I really really enjoy him.
Yeah, he's just so optimistic about everything.
Yeah, and very likable as well.
Yeah, and in the first Ant-Man, didn't I say I was like he's a racial stereotype? And I was like, is this film racist? And you're like, no, it's not.
No, because not all the other guys are Hispanic. One of them's black and one of them's from another country in Europe.
Yay, crime is diverse. Great.
Hmm.
Sonny Birch. I don't remember who that was.
That was the weird guy with the long hair and the accent who Hope met up with at the beginning of the film for like a piece.
I don't remember him that much.
Yeah. He was on the boat with the lab when Ant-Man turned big and he picked him up and stuff like that. But yeah, very couldn't give less of a damn about his character.
Yeah.
Like, nothing character. And like, I don't think it's any fault of the performer, but it's just like the way he's written.
I feel like the biggest problem with this film is it doesn't really have a villain.
It has like two or three sub villains.
It has an objective, but it doesn't really have a villain.
Yeah, it has like three sub villains. You got obviously Ghost, and you've got Sonny, and then you've got the FBI kind of people or the cops basically who keep Scott under house arrest. But those aren't main villains; they're all sub villains.
Yeah.
For the actual objective of the film is them trying to get Jen out of the quantum realm.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Cassie was obviously Scott Lang's daughter. She was surprisingly, she's actually not bad for a child actress. She's actually very, very likable. Yeah,
very endearing, I would say, especially with like her wanting to be Scott's partner.
Yeah, I love the scene. Endearing. I love the scene when she tells Wasp that like he wanted her to be his partner.
Yeah.
Jim Paxton. Was he the guy who was with the ghost?
No. Jim Paxton is the cop from the first film.
Oh yeah, sorry,
the Scott's ex. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hardly in the film. He's hardly in the film.
Yeah. His screen time in this mirrored like whoever that guy was from Incredible Hulk that was with Betty Ross until she went Bruce and then left him.
Oh yeah. It was basically that, which is weird because he had a bigger role in the first one, but then resorted to the backgroundness.
I haven't seen Incredible Hulk in like 3 weeks, and I'm still triggered.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. What a terrible character.
Mm.
Betty Ross. Although it'll be interesting when I rewatch Hulk 2003 because I'm pretty sure she's actually pretty great in that from memory. Because Jennifer Connelly is actually puts in a performance as opposed to Liv Tyler. For whatever that was.
It wasn't even a performance. I would just call that a trash present.
Maggie was the ex-wife. She doesn't really matter. She doesn't really matter now because Wasp is there.
Her one thing in this film is that she constantly hates when the cops come into Scott's apartment and says, "Oh no, you can't do this," and then Paxton's like, "Oh no, yeah, they can." That's their joke of the film. And that's
but the thing is, Scott's got a new, much better girlfriend with a nice suit, who's far better than her. So she doesn't even need to be in this franchise anymore, unless something happens within the family where there's like custody for the child or something. But like basically, she's redundant now because Wasp is like just better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ex-con security crew. So they were the guys with Sonny Birch.
Oh yeah. They're in the first film, but
they were like the Warriors 3 of Ant-Man.
But at least funny. At the very least, they were funny.
There is that one scene in Thor 1 where the Warriors 3 are actually really funny. When they
arrive on Earth.
When they find Thor, that was fucking great.
And that was the best moment, and that's it.
For Warriors 3, yeah. Because, like, in Dark World, they're shit, and then in Ragnarok, they die.
Yeah. Zachary Levi died to go do Shazam.
So there's one guy with a beard, and then there's one guy who's Zachary Levi, and then there's, like, with the sword, and then there's an Asian with an axe.
No, Asian one had the spiky mace on the chain. That's what he had.
No, I don't
the guy with the big beard had the axe, and then Zachary Levi had a sword.
Right. I just remember in the Thor review, you're like, there's one guy who has a beard, there's one guy who has a sword, and there's an Asian.
I don't even remember saying that. That's how much I've forgotten about Thor and the Warriors 3 in general.
Oh dear. Jimmy Woo.
That's the cop that he's trying to arrest Scott.
I like his scene where he's trying to go up the stairs and like Cassie's stopping him.
Yeah. I like at the beginning of the film where she's trying to like talk down to Cassie, but that turns into him having just a full explanation about why Scott is under arrest. And then Scott's just like, "Man, you're just great with kids." And he's like, "Oh, thank you," or "I know," or something like that. I've seen this or something like that. But yeah, he's fun.
Yeah.
He's like a funnier version of Paxton from the first film. He's like a funnier version of him.
It's like if you combine Paxton and Wong.
Yeah. That's probably actually a good combination. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just because he's Asian. I'm not being a racist. Don't
Wong's
you worry.
Just funny.
Yeah, Wong's Asian and Lewis is Hispanic. What am I doing here? I'm such a regressive bastard. Ragnarok's bad because it has Maoris in it. I'm joking, by the way. By the way, I said before I'm pretty sure my most controversial video in this series is the Ragnarok review. Now I know it is because it's the only one that actually has a dislike on it.
I wonder why.
Because it's kind of average. Anyway. Janet Van Dyne. So she's at the very end. And she's also at the dreams at the start.
Yeah. But that's kind of it.
But she's got like the Hawkeye syndrome in this film, like to the fullest extent.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's fun when she's on screen, but then she doesn't do anything else because the whole plot is about getting her back. It's weird because she's on like the poster for the film, but she's got like 3 minutes of screen time in a nearly 2-hour film. So, ooh.
Yeah, but then again, Tony Stark had one scene in Incredible Hulk, and it was the best scene in the whole film.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. But to be fair, we had the establishment of Iron Man.
Putting together a team. Bill Foster.
That's the guy who helps out Ghost throughout the film.
Oh, that's the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I like the actor, and I know he's done stuff like Matrix and
Has he
stuff.
gained weight?
I think he has over the years, but
Looks like it.
yeah, but he still looks good. I would say he's still like,
well, he looks cool.
Yeah, and he's a good actor. He just feels quite background in this film.
His head reminds me of Viscera. For some reason, I don't know. I'm just being very racist in this video. I'm sorry. I'm not intending it. It's just happening.
No.
I don't know what to say to that now. It's very awkward. Any other side characters you want to discuss?
Else. Is that it? Is that all the characters? I feel like that's all the characters.
Was there any MCU like cameo in this film?
Stanley.
Oh yeah.
When his cost rings and he's like, "Well, the 60s were fun, but now I'm paying for it." But yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. I think that's all the side characters. If we're missing someone, then obviously they weren't memorable.
Most of the main characters in this film are side characters.
Yeah, that's what they feel like.
And this is a side film. So the plot, it was right. Basic.
It was okay. Had fun concepts like the quantum realm scenes. I thought were quite visually interesting, and I mean, an Ant-Man film is going to be fun at times.
But that's direction though. I'm talking about the plot.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the concepts of like the quantum realm and how they use that. But yeah, but the plot itself is fine at best.
Surprisingly, for such a simple film, it has 5 writers.
I know. When I saw the 5 writers, I was like, why? Why 5 writers?
Maybe that makes sense because there is like 5 plots.
Yeah, each group of characters has a plot, and that's for each writer.
Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, Andrew Barra, Gabriel Ferrari, and of course Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I covered all of those in the first Ant-Man. I'm not sure, but they're not memorable enough anyway.
I heard that there were less writers on the first Ant-Man film. There was like 4, with one of them being Edgar Wright.
No, I'm pretty sure it was about the same.
Okay.
Not sure. And of course the director is Peyton Reed. The direction's good. The direction is good.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's probably a tiny bit better than the first one. Maybe I might just prefer because the amount of time there's in the quantum realm.
Okay, I'll put it this way. So when it came to let's put it this way. It had less of the Favreau problem, because the first Ant-Man had the Favreau problem of great action scenes, but then the dialogue scenes are stale as shit.
Yeah.
Whereas with this film, action scenes arguably better or worse, up to you. They're both great. I think the first one has more imagination when it comes to the action scenes.
Probably, yeah.
But then this one had better CGI.
Yeah.
But in terms of the dialogue scenes, it's far more interesting. Like all the stuff that happened in the school was really good.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. Yeah, direction was good.
Just like the first one. I like the direction around Wasp's suit. I'll put it that way. Something wrong with me in this review.
I don't know.
I've been reduced to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
It's just like all I care about is like race and like
Suits.
suits. Just like I've got a friend who's like the only MCU films he's seen are Spider-Man because his friends invited him to see it, and Guardians because he was with me when I watched it. So he's not really invested. But like he says like he loves Captain Marvel just because of how she looks. Like that's the only reason. I'm like, you realize everyone hates Brie Larson, and he's like, I don't care.
I really don't like Brie Larson. If anybody's seen her interviews with like everybody else, with Jeremy Renner and Chris Hemsworth,
And Don Cheadle, holy shit.
and Don Cheadle, like it just feels like she's in her own world. Like
I think she
like-
may have autism. No
like-
offense to anyone who has autism out there, by the way.
No, exactly. But like, it just feels like she's in her own little bubble of weirdness. I don't like her. I really don't. I don't like her as a person.
Because
She's
it's
fine
'cause-
as an actress, but
It's because all of the actors in the MCU have the same sense of humor except for her.
yeah, like she thinks that everything's like a personal attack or something. God, like
And they're just joking.
exactly. Like we don't know her personally, but just from her interviews, we can judge her on that. It just feels like she's not getting what is going on around her. She just feels like she doesn't get it, and I don't like her, like as an actress
Or
in
or,
these build-ups.
or the alternative to that is she does get it, but what she says isn't funny.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like she can't fire back because she's just not funny. She's just not a comedic person.
Yeah.
I like the bit where like Don Cheadle's just like, I told you not to touch it. Like she touches his, like she's like, hey guys, and he's like, I told you not to touch my jacket.
I literally love everyone in the MCU as an actress apart from her. Like,
And Liv Tyler.
oh yeah, no. Like I see a lot of people that like her Twitter and stuff, and I always just look at it and I'm like, do you not see like how like rude and annoying and misplaced in her mind she is? Like obviously I don't know her personally, but I'm kind of in a sense glad I don't know her personally. Like I just feel like she's massively mishandled both the build up to Captain Marvel and Endgame.
I just love that how in the interview like Don Cheadle's like depressingly like, oh, you know, Cap's gonna pass the torch to her because she's the new Cap or something stupid like that. And then like she's like, yeah, like talking over him, and then just quietly Chris Hemsworth's like, oh, I think you already stole the bloody torch and took it for yourself, and just snatched it out of her hand.
You can tell they just don't like her.
Yeah, especially because like Jeremy Renner, if he's ever in an interview with anyone else, especially Paul Rudd, he's always having fun. But then the one where he did with her, he's just so depressed.
Yeah. Like I hope people need to see those interviews and realize that clearly she's not right.
There's something going on. There's something going
It's-
on.
I think I heard
She
this
she
could
would
be
belong.
like-
She would belong in DC. Don't know which character she played, but she seems like she would belong in DC.
yeah, like if God, I forgot what I was gonna say, but like just in general, I just feel like she's
I mean, she's not even like. Isn't it like? I'm gonna say it now because this is the video for the lowest common denominator. So I'm gonna say it now because like I've already got myself in trouble. So isn't it like she's got like an ass stunt double because she doesn't have the same ass as Captain Marvel in the comics? Like I heard that somewhere. Like there's literally like this is not even a joke. There's actually
I haven't heard that.
There's
If
actually
that's true,
someone-
then that's very odd.
there's actually some. I mean, it's for one of two characters, right? Because it's a scene with Captain Marvel and Black Widow, and they needed someone to double, like body double, just for Captain Marvel's ass because
That's
it's
very
not
odd.
big enough. But The alternative is that it might be Black Widow, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Like, if you think it's Black Widow and not Captain Marvel, you're probably on drugs.
Yeah. Oh, I just remember what I was going to say. I think I saw it could be like fake rumors and stuff, but I did see one rumor that they might recast Captain Marvel, maybe, but that could just be fake news. But if they do, I wouldn't be angry. I'd kind of be happy because we'll get into my problems with Captain Marvel tomorrow. Like we will get to it, and
I haven't seen the film,
say,
so
yeah,
I can't say.
I have a lot of problems with it, and it's mainly to do with Brie Larson. But we'll get to it when it comes to it. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil what I think of it from Endgame yet, so we have to wait till Saturday.
Well, yeah,
for that.
exactly. You have to wait. You have to wait till Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can probably do the maths. And the music for this film, Ant-Man and the Wasp, that we haven't been talking about for like the last 10 minutes because of Brie Larson. But then again, this is Act 2 of the review, and it's got some filler in it, just like Ant-Man and the Wasp. There you go.
Yeah. It feels like it should end because we've talked about the whole film, basically, in just
the music is by Christopher Beck, who did the first one as well.
Fine score. I'd like the score when it's in the school. I like quite a bit because it's quite funny and amusing.
Yeah. Anytime it's comedic, it's great.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Everything else is just fine.
Yeah, I mean the CGI looks fantastic. There's no doubt. But the thing is like the only films that don't have good CGI are like Incredible Hulk and maybe Thor.
Yeah. I would agree, probably.
And that's because Thor, and even then, Thor's CGI has a really great design.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's kind of expected. It's like it's a given with Marvel now. It's like if there's bad CGI, it's not something that you would expect, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the trivia.
Yeah, I think that's in record time so far.
Yeah. Incredible Hulk was pretty short. Actually, no. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but originally it was probably like,
around the same, maybe a bit longer.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd really did learn close-up magic for this movie. I really did learn some of the magic. I really haven't kept it up, but then again, trying to learn to be really good at magic in a short amount of time is like trying to learn violin in a short amount of time. Like, what is he talking about? Learning about magic.
He does. Remember, he does the card tricks throughout the film.
Oh yes. Sorry, when I see magic, I think magic wand.
No, but yeah, he does the magic tricks, and the cop tries to say, "Oh, I'm going to learn that," and then later in the film, he's on the same website that Paul Rudd used. Yeah, Scott Lang used. Yeah.
I watched it. I was watching like best of like funniest MCU interviews last night. There's like 5 of them. This guy. So this guy. He's having like this eating like hot wings competition with Scarlett Johansson, right? Mm-hmm. He does the magic trick of putting like the what's it called, the hand towel like into his hand, and then he opens his hand, it's disappeared. But then it cuts to a wide shot and it's on his leg. Like she can't see it, but like I can see it, like laid out on his leg. It's
funny.
So funny. Scott grumbles that just wearing a hat and sunglasses does not conceal your identity. This has been a running joke amongst fans since several MCU characters have used this technique, including Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Nick Fury, and Falcon.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yep. Oh, apparently in the comic books, the ghost was male.
Oh.
Apparently the release date for this film was originally going to be Captain Marvel's release date, but then they pushed it back.
Right. So it would have been even more longer. It would have been like still the same problems would have arisen anyway. So
Yeah, well, I don't know if they swapped it or if they pushed it. I don't know.
I think from that wedding there, they pushed it back. I think Captain Marvel just took its place.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Captain Marvel was going to be when this film came out.
Oh, right. Okay.
In the comics, the Ghost has never fought Ant-Man. The Wasp becomes the second superhero title in the MCU to be passed from parent to child. The first was Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer and Paul Rudd played lovers in I Could Never Be Your Woman. In this film, she plays his girlfriend's mother. That's a bit weird.
Yeah. Like that's Janet, the actress that plays Janet, isn't it?
Yeah, so
that's weird. Considering how Janet possesses him as well, that's quite weird as well.
I did think that Janet and Hope looked a little bit like not far apart in age.
No.
One of the last things Scott is seen doing in Civil War is patting on a still like a bongo drum when in his cell. Clearly, drum practice was the next logical step. Reed promised Michael Douglas that he wouldn't be just a walking exposition machine this time around. One of the movie's writers has stated that he believes Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, to be Sonny Birch's employer.
Huh.
Avenge me! Oh. Reed insisted the film clock in under 2 hours for two reasons. I know we were going to be following Infinity War, which was going to be this massive epic, but most importantly, just because this is a comedy and it's an action comedy and it didn't want to overstay its welcome. It already does.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been 90 minutes max.
Yeah.
Huh. Michelle Pfeiffer played Catwoman in Batman Returns. I didn't know that. It's the same actress.
Is that that's the Michael Keaton one?
Yeah, the second Michael Keaton.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I
know it's the second one.
I've only seen that film once.
Same. I didn't recognize that. That's actually kind of interesting.
It's weird how like I hate the ending how she just comes back, but then it leads nowhere. Is she the same actress that plays her in? It must not be because they also made a Catwoman film in like the early 2000s and apparently it's garbage.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I know. That's not the same actress. No.
And then there was actually like a bloody Xbox game for it as well for Catwoman.
Yeah. That was in the phase where every film had a video game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very strange time. Like, barely any of them were good as well. Like the Pixar ones were, but like in terms of like live action films, there were very few that were actually good.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith was fine. I think.
I really like Revenge of the Sith on PS2.
Yeah, and I think from memory, the Lord of the Rings ones aren't too bad either.
I don't really have faith in them.
I think I only played it once. Oh, and the even though it's fucking long as and kind of boring and hard, the King Kong game was all right.
Alright. I've seen clips of that. It looks very difficult at
Oh, it's
times.
so hard. It's one of the hardest games I've ever. It's like the original Dark Souls. It's
Mm.
not that hard, but like if you're a kid playing it, it's fucking like you got such a limited amount of ammo
Mm.
because like you have to pick up these spears and you have to throw them at moving pterodactyls, and it's like if you run out of ammo, you're fucked. You can't get any more anywhere. It's like you just have to die and restart.
Mm.
Um, the film's title is not shown on screen until the ending credits.
Well, that's most
Isn't that the
MCU
same
films.
as isn't that the same as Civil War?
Yeah, Civil War did the same thing as well.
Mm. Um, the flashback exterior shot of Pym's house that opens up the film was originally filmed for the first movie.
Mm.
Uh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Slowly making my way through the trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if this is boring for anyone watching. It's just I'm not reading very fast today. I'm in, like I said, lowest common denominator mode. You know.
Yeah.
We shall not judge by the color of their skin, but by the quality of their suit.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. I accidentally spoiled like a very minor detail of Endgame unintentionally to Anthony today, and he blocked me on.
Oh.
He deleted Snapchat because of it. I feel so bad. It wasn't like a plot detail, but it was like, and there was so many
Something
times.
that happens.
No, no, not something that
Oh.
happens.
Oh, right.
It was. I'm pretty sure I'll be okay to say it here. I literally just said to him, Brie Larson's acting is bad. That's all I said.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then he's like, no, and then he deleted Snapchat.
Right.
I shouldn't have said it.
Mm.
And there were so many times that like I typed something and then I read it. I'm like, this isn't even about Endgame, but he might think it is, so I can't say
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Ugh, poor guy. I shouldn't have said it. I should not have said that. Could have been worse though. I got a friend from work who, like, his flatmate came in and said, "Hey, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but one of the main characters, does this."
Mm.
So he tells them like what happens. He told them like one of the events of the film without saying who it was, but it's still like that's still a
That's still
spoiler.
like, yeah, because something happens to a character.
Yeah,
Like,
like
doesn't matter who it is.
that's still a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless of who it is, it's still a spoiler. Um. Oh, here we go. Some trivia about Wasp's costume. Uh, Hope's Wasp costume has bits of red on it, along with yellow, gold, and black, unlike the contemporary Jane Van Dyne. I almost said Van Dyke. Van Dyne Wasp costume pattern after. as a reference to Janet's original Red Silver Age Wasp costume and Hope's Red Queen costume in her initial 2000s alternate universe comic appearances. Well, it looks good to me. Nice and, tight. Ooh. Wow. Janet Van Dyne is known for being around 5'2" to 5'4" in the comics, but in the film she's 5'8".
Ah.
It's just like how Tom Cruise played Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher's supposed to be 6'6" and he's 5'6". Ugh. I think it's like that's the one thing that Robert Downey Jr. didn't have for Tony Stark was height. Like, he literally had everything else. Everything. From the look, to the personality, to the charisma, to the acting. Everything. And then his height. It's just... Oh, dear. Alright, fuck it, that's it. That's the end of the trivia. Conclusion and rating out of 10 for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right. Ant-Man and the Wasp, while fun, feels unimportant, doesn't feel engaging. Characters are fine. Ant-Man is great, as he normally is anyway. And some scenes are cool to look at, especially stuff in the Quantum Realm. But as a film, and where it's placed in the MCU, brings it down massively in terms of my engagement. So I'm going to be probably... Don't know if it's just harsh or not, but I'm just going to give it like... Probably maybe a 6 out of 10. Maybe.
So
6 out of 10.
So you still think it's better than Thor?
Yeah, because I laughed a lot during it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, true.
Yeah. And I like Paul Rudd like a lot. I think he's great in the film. But it's the same level as... It's not as good as Iron Man 2, because I think I gave that a 6.5 out of 10.
No, you gave that a 6, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, then it would be on the same level. It's around the same level anyway, so...
Yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah, because I remember it was like the first few reviews, we all gave it the same score, and I gave it a 6.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, because I gave it 1 rating less than Iron Man, which was
It wasn't.
7.
It was the first one when we had it different was Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp is forgettable. It's alright. Badly placed in the MCU, but Paul Rudd's good. Lewis's flashbacks are good. The Wasp's suit is lovely. The child actor for Cassie is endearing. The effects are good. The CGI is good. The story's pretty meh. Yeah, I'd say it's not a bad film, but probably one of the weakest of the MCU overall. 6 out of 10. Low 6. Very low 6 out of 10, I'd say. Bordering on 5.5. I would say it's a 6 just because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 out of 10. And don't really see myself watching it again anytime soon.
No.
Next time, Captain Marvel. The best MCU film. The best MCU film, as we all know.
Yeah, to talk about Brie Larson.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a more interesting review, at least, than this one.
Yeah, because
there'll be more to talk about.
I have things to say.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it yet, so I've got that to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Without further ado, I guess we'll see you then.